Pop Squat, come at ya. Hey everybody. We're gonna do something because I kind of have time. I don't really have time to do this, but it's only, well, it's 10:30 now. It was 10 o'clock when I got started with all of this. I want to react to an album that was sent in a while ago by Icy Eli and Scarlet's Web. They have a new group collaboration that they're calling Morbid Fantasy. This is a 9-track album that they released 3 months ago. Sorry, I think I had like a little bug on my leg. And Icy Eli, who's been one of the people who from very early on the channel has been sending me stuff, asked me to react to this. And it's, like I said, it's him and Scarlet's Web. They're doing this stuff. They also have some features on here that are very cool. It's people that I've already reacted to on the channel. Eurostar. Who else do they have on here? He gave me the names. Chanel SD. And boy, there was somebody else. It might have just been Scarlet's Web, actually, now that I say that. So Eurostar, Scarlet's Web, Icy Eli, and Chanel SD are the ones that I know right off the bat. Let's check this out. This is going to, I think, be a very different style from what we have heard far in the past from Icy Eli. And this is more of his recent stuff. Or more like some of his recent stuff that's been a little darker. I mean, you can tell even from the image here of the album cover, it looks a little bit darker. I'm very curious about this. I'm not sure if it's going to appeal to me. I'm not a huge fan of super dark stuff. And there's, you know, some of the titles here are Live Life with Your Wounds Open, Date Night, Pretty Bitches. Some of these sound okay. Come Back Alive, so there's probably some death stuff there. Trapped. Chaos, no, X6. I don't know what that one is called versus who the featured person is. Omen, Exploding Inside and Out, and No Love. So let's check this out. I'm hoping it's not too dark and spooky sounding, but it's only 20 minutes long, so I can handle it if it is. Let's get into this and see. Before we do, I want to remind people that Babytron is coming to Numos in Seattle July 6th. That's next week, Thursday of 2023. And at the end of the month, Animal House Seattle is having an emo rave with some absolutely fantastic people who are going to be there. $10 online to get tickets, $15 at the door. It is July 9th at 6 o'clock. You can also find them on Instagram if you want to look them up and find out some information. You can also DM them at Animal House Seattle for the address. I think that's within Eventbrite, maybe. I'm not sure. And now I have to sneeze. Go check that out. It's going to be an awesome show. Sorry, long pause there while I sneezed very loudly. Let's check this out. Life with your hands open for Morbid Fantasy. This is, like I said, Icy Eli and produced by Scarlet's Web. I'm looking forward to seeing what this sounds like. First track we've got is called Live Life with Your Wounds Open, and it's the intro track to the album.
You see, you just can't trust anyone. The first time I let a girl into my life and she tries to eat me.
First time I let a girl into my life and she tries to eat me. What is that? Is that Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Like an old quote from them? First time. It doesn't sound right, though. I mean, it's obviously been altered a little bit, but I'm not sure exactly where that quote comes from.
Live life with open hands.
Very dark.
I live my life with open wounds.
Morbid fantasy, prepare to be frightened.
Would you like to feel my open flesh?
Morbid fantasy 2K66.
It's okay. I promise.
First song is with Eurostar, Date Night. Oh. Very EDM feel.
Live life with open hands.
Morbid Fantasy 2K66.
Money longer, life too short. Every day I go bonkers. If I gotta go out, then I throw it on there. If I gotta go out, then I throw it on there. Walk to the house.
It's interesting because this definitely feels like heavily in the realm of like EDM and dance music, just with the beat and the speed, maybe even like a touch of drum and bass in terms of just that speed that going on in the background. Kind of interesting. Not what I expected. I expected more of the kind of spooky, the all minor tones. Like, this is not that. This is much more dancey than I expected.
It's daylight. I walk back to the house, but it's daylight. I work hard on bad days for the best life. You spend your whole month pay on your best night. Day night, when I went to this shit like day night. I took it out, eating berry on a
Like the change in his voice.
When I talk to you, girl, I feel naked. When I talk to you, I tell the truth, I cannot fake it. She ain't gotta ask me, she know she can take it. Ain't no guy got stronger, money longer. You're a truck, keep my word, I can't dishonor. Fuck a rapist, fuck Bobby, even Connor. If I gotta go, I'd have done with honor. I got stronger, money longer, life too short. Every day I go bonkers. Fuck a rapist, fuck Bobby, eating Connor. If I gotta go out, then I throw it on there. Walk to the house, but it's daylight. I walk back to the house, but it's daylight. I work hard on bad days for the best life. You spend your whole month pay on your best night. Day night, when I went at this shit like day night. I took it out, eating berry on a day night. Day night, day night, day night. I thought I could have it. I'm emotional, but I know I can manage. For you, I'll make my lifestyle lavish. Take music serious. I'm a bad.
Watch your worst fears come alive with Morbid Fantasy. Do you know what it is?
I got stronger, money longer, life too short. Every day I go bonkers. Fuck a rapist, fuck Bobby, eating Connor. If I gotta go out, then I throw it on there. Walk to the house, but it's daylight. I walk back to the house, but it's daylight. I work hard on bad days for the best life. You spend your whole month pay on your best night.
I totally dug that. Great track.
2K66.
Yeah, absolutely. No, great sound. I think it sounds great. I think Eurostar did a great job on it, and the energy of it is way higher than I thought it was going to be. Like I said, it's like EDM with a rap track laid over it, which is kind of a cool combination in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not describing it the way they would describe it, but that's what I get out of it. And it's really kind of cool. Let's keep going. The third track is Scarlet's Web with Pretty Bitches. Good name for a song.
Morbid Fantasy 2K66.
Tell me you got shit to say, get pushing your little face. Every day we go dance, every day I swear to live.
See, still, again, like, super speedy, like, fast beat, much higher notes than I expected, much dancier sort of feel to it. This is really some interesting stuff. I'm really liking this.
I don't care to listen, I'm a pretty bitch, you
that considered hyperpop? EDM with rap? Like, is that basically what hyperpop is? Am I wrong? It's kind of what it is, right? Sort of, with like computer stuff sometimes thrown into it. This has a little bit of a like computer generated feel just because the voice has been modulated to sound kind of like cutesy anime computer game voice person. Maybe I'm crazy. Let's keep going. Nice. Love the bass. Yeah, sounds cool. So this says, so I think the song is called "Come Back Alive," and it says "Mangled P90 Shotgun." I don't know what Mangled is an artist. P90 Shotgun is another artist, a rapper, performer. I can't tell you. I don't know. But let's check it out. "Come Back Alive." I like the kind of underwater sort of feel. Okay, I did like that, but they're losing me a little bit on some of the effects going on here because it's so interrupted and so disruptive to my listening ability that I have a hard time really following along and getting the song as a whole. And we're going to keep listening, but we're almost halfway done. I want it to hold together a little bit better than it does. That's just me. They can make whatever music they want to. I love the glitchy stuff.
You're so pathetic.
Ah, sure. So the glitchy stuff combined with the speeding up and slowing down, I think is the thing that really makes it hard for me to connect to it. Like, it just is too much of that disruption that those two things offer. I love glitchy stuff, like, and repeating the same word or portion of the same word, like time or something, whatever it is. I love that sort of thing, and I also like slowing things down and speeding things up. But when you combine those two, I'm having a very difficult time with that with this track.
Fantasy 2K66.
See, and I say all that stuff, right? And then at the same time, I'm thinking, good for them for experimenting, for like pushing the envelope, doing something a little bit different, because some of this stuff might come back in other tracks in the future, and they'll have worked out how to make it really work and be cool. Or maybe somebody else will. Somebody will hear this and be like, that gives me an idea of like something else that I want to try. Like, I want to, whatever, like try doing some glitchy stuff and slow it and speed things down, but in a different way that it really kind of meshes really well. This I felt was too disruptive for me, and but I love the experimentation. I will always give people props for playing around and trying something different, and I think this is a perfect example of that. We're going to move on to Morty's Suicide, is I believe the artist, with the song Trapped. That's loud. Oh, seeing this. This is another perfect example from song 4, Come Back Alive, that was so glitchy and speeding things up and slowing things down. This song uses some of those same things, but uses them, I think, in a much more, in the first 20 seconds, in a much more comfortable way, like a way that I am listening to it and I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of, I'm going to back up because I want to hear the whole thing again. The way they're combining the slowing down and speeding up and the glitchy kind of pausing, the skipping of words, things like that, works better in this already in the first 20 seconds. So let's just start it over. Great sound there.
Morbid fantasy. Prepare to be frightened.
Still crazy disruptive, difficult to track. I'm not really able to pick out too much of the lyrics. Kitten, I don't need you. Thank you, Sasha. Yeah, having a hard time connecting with this one too, but I do think there's some parts of this that I really like. Parts of it sound very, very cool.
Watch your worst fears come alive with Morbid fantasy.
Alright, so this track now is Morty Suicide again and Chaos. And the song, I think, is just called X6. Time 6? I don't know. Let's check it out.
X6 in a BMW, sipping on that codeine. Who that bitch? Why she talking like she know me? That little hoe, yeah.
I like his voice. The way he's pronouncing some things is very, very cool. It's a little clipped. It's interesting. I like it.
Morbid fantasy. Prepare to be frightened.
I'm sorry you fucked up.
Bitch, I'm in that X6 in a BMW, sipping on that codeine. Who that bitch? Why she talking like she know me? That little hoe, yeah, she don't know me. I told her go on the knees, tucking my cash. I told her go on the knees, tucking my cash these. My dick in it, it's up in the ovaries. Got some hella drugs, fuck the whole. That pussy in my face, man, it's really sweet. Fuck the hustle.
See, and then this song, I would almost guarantee you that this song was produced after the last two. I mean, this was working better and better and better as time goes on, and we get the same sort of glitchiness and skipping around and speeding down and slowing up, and yet it's working better in this than it has in the previous two, and it worked better in the last one than it did in the first. really, really interesting. This is sounding very, very cool. A little different. I get touches of, and I don't think it's necessarily intentional, but touches of like Shed Theory, Joey, those guys. Um, I think it sounds cool. I love the way he's using his voice. Like I said, he's kind of clipping his words a little short, just tiny bit. He's kind of using a creepy voice in a cool way. It's working for me. This song is working for me.
That little bitch gon' come on me. Fuck y'all so good, that little bitch gon' come on me. She high as fuck, how I fuck her off a bean. Yeah.
Oh, that was cool.
And I didn't been through hell and I didn't been through hell and I didn't been through hell and I seen that bitch, she tryna show me she got ass. Went to my mom's, nigga, I ain't kinda lack. Got me a Glock, gotta keep me a gat. Me and this bitch alone, I'm gonna break up. Got me a Glock, gotta keep me a gat. Got me a Glock, gotta keep me a gat. Me and this bitch alone, I'm finna break her back. She bout to give me some throne inside of me back. She bout to give me some throne inside of me back. We be rolling alone, smoking that off pack. Bitch, do not talk back, nigga, do not talk back, or you gon' get slapped. When I walk in the room and I smile. Pay attention, little nigga, you gotta listen clear. I hate the mere fact these niggas tryna stand up to me. I'm Chaos God, look me in the eyes, then I leave you to bleed. Sacrifice all this time just to get all the shit. So if you disrespect me, little nigga, you get me pissed. But I'm gonna relax, cause I'm sipping walk with the Chris.
Some of those lyrics didn't flow very well. That's fine.
I'm sorry you fucked up.
Oh. Yeah, I really like some of that. I really like how some of that sounds. That was a cool track. That was a very, very cool track. Working so much better. Like, they really are working out some kinks from song to song to song. This is a neat song. This is has some absolutely fantastic sounds in there. I think if enough people were to listen to this, they would go like, yeah, I want to try something like that. And I think it's even more definitely influenced by Shed Theory and Joey and things like. There were parts of that I was like, oh yeah, for sure. It's like not necessarily trying to copy them, but trying to introduce some of those elements, those kind of neo-psychedelia, the fading in and out, loopy sort of feeling. That's really, really cool. It's very cool. It's interesting that we started out and I'm like, oh, it's kind of like EDM, and now we're 2/3 of the way through and it's much more psychedelic and strange, and I'm curious if we're going to come back into more psychedelia, if we're going to go back into the EDM zone, or if we're going to do something completely different. We've got 3 more songs. I guess let's go and listen to them. This next one is 600 Demon. I don't know how to pronounce this name. XOL4NI? Kalani? I don't know. I have no idea. And Danny Kyoko, and the song is Omen.
UK66.
Everything looks what the fuck is happening? Loading in the backseat, I'm loading up on.
Kind of loving all this, honestly. Like, if you're looking at me and going, what in the, he's like stunned, what the hell's going on? It's really kind of cool. It sort of sounds like, I can't even think of what it sounds. It kind of reminds me of like when you're like randomly dialing through radio stations sort of, but that's not quite right. But that's the thing that comes to mind, is like this crazy mix of noises and sounds that don't really come together to make anything, but it still kind of sounds cool and interesting, and like that's what it reminds me of, and I think it's interesting.
And I read it just like this. Know that nigga cannot speak. Got a bitch and she really tryna fuck. I'm so high, I touch it. That's why I bitch. And I read it just like this. Know that nigga cannot speak. Got a bitch and she really tryna fuck. I'm so high, I touch it. That's why I bitch. I'm not the type of nigga. BKB, deal with more and I can come what I said I'll take.
Morbid Fantasy. Prepare to be frightened.
So they're using that sample a lot, and I'm sure it's because they want to push the name of the group, right? But I also think it's because they know that these songs aren't necessarily going to be listened to as an album. They're going to be listened to piecemeal. Like one of these songs might hit and get popular, and they want to make sure that they're getting their information in there. And it's the same issue I have with tags in song. Like, and I understand producers want to put their tag in so that they know, like, whatever, made by Good, made by whoever the hell it might be, right? They want to get their name in there. They want a DJ Smokey, right? But it is a weird little interruption to the song itself, and I'm not a huge fan of it, and I'm sure it's not going to go away because, you know, they don't consult me when they make decisions about stuff like that. But I'm not a big fan of it, so let's just keep going.
Yeah, what's up, pull up? I'm fucking into it. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, what's up, pull up? Yeah, what's up? Yeah, what's up, pull up? I'm fucking into my pull up. Yeah, what's up, pull up? I'm fucking into my pull up. Yeah, the game is plug. I like to say something with up. Yeah, nigga, yeah, man, what's this job? Yeah, I ain't flowing now, my niggas walking around. Yeah, I ain't flowing now, my niggas walking around. I ain't flowing now, my niggas walking around. I ain't flowing now, my niggas walking around. More than 50. See, bitch, people like this out. I can't walk around, my niggas in the bed when I look at they gon' cut out. Yeah, we out in that fire.
Would you like to feel my open flesh?
Yeah, see, that's another one. That's another one that doesn't quite work for me. I mean, just way too experimental, way too over the top in terms of like throwing everything in there, doing all this crazy stuff in the production side of things. Doesn't really get the feeling across. Well, no, I can't say that. It doesn't get a consistent feeling across to me that I can make sense of, and especially because I can't understand any of the lyrics really and don't have them in front of me. Oddly, this is the track that has the most listens so far on the album, and yeah, I don't know. It's too much. It's too much. I think it needs to be kind of pulled back a little bit, like. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm a big dumb moron head. Let's go on to song number 8. This is the second to last track on the album. Thanks again to Icy Eli. This one features Icy Eli. This is Morty Suicide, Icy Eli, and Chanel SD. Looking forward to this. Exploding Inside and Out is the name of this track. Let's do it.
Wanna lie to me, bitches wanna lie to me, but I don't have the time. That guy like to recline, baby, blow my brain.
I'm sorry you fucked up.
Exploding. Yeah. You can hear my inside explode. You can hear my inside exploding.
Would you like to feel my open flesh?
You can hear my inside exploding. You can hear me really dying. You can hear me really dying. You can hear me really dying. Take morphine, now I'm flying. All these bitches wanna lie to me, I don't have the time. Sit back, I like to recline. Sit back, I like to recline. Baby, blow my brains out, I'm exploding inside. She said my future's really bright. She said my future's really bright. Like the sun outside. Like the sun outside. My soul feels overloaded. I I might explode. I really can't control it. I really cannot hide it. Mix drugs like a scientist. Mix drugs like a chemist.
2K66.
Drugs like a doctor. And I'm taking all these pills. Make me fucking back. I'ma make it back hurt. Back it down the street. Baby, I can hit you from the west of this. Baby, I can hit you from the west of this. Baby, I can hit you from the west of this. Baby, I can make your fucking knees real. Baby, I can make your fucking knees real weak. When you step to me, you better keep that heat. Better keep that flame like Miami. Cause when you fucking try me, Morbid could get violent. I put dents inside your skull. Blue lines inside my nose. I see where we staying cold. I ain't hot.
I'm loving the experimentation in this too. And I think they're taking a slightly different approach than some of the previous songs where they're speeding things up, slowing things down, glitchiness. Like they're trying. I don't think they're 100% successful, but trying to use the warping of the lyrics as part of the. Well, I know they're trying to do that as part of the texture of the song. But I don't necessarily think the choices that they're making are adding to the coolness of the track. They're sort of randomly throwing in these warps and things like that. Seems to me. I don't know why they made the decisions they made. Instead of like putting it on one of the things where he's drawing out one of the words and putting one of those like wah, wah, into that to make it stand out a little bit more. I don't know. I'm probably not explaining it very well. But I overall, I'm really liking this track in particular because I think it sounds really good. There's cool experimentation going on with it, and I think it's at a level that makes sense for the song. There's not like too much of it. It's not too crazy. But I don't know if they hit the right places to put those weird little hiccups in the song. It's a good song though. I like it.
I get violent when the night move in silence. Move silent, I like a pilot, yeah. Touch it baggy, now I'm declining.
So, for example, those times when he's like, yeah, like why not have that be, wow, 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 you know, like use that effect there to get that repeated phrase instead of him actually repeating it over and over. That could sound super, super cool. Again, it's just me talking, but like I think that could sound very, very cool, and it would take the place of him repeating the word, and instead it would be the word being repeated in a way that is a result of the manipulation of the producer, and it would still serve the same purpose and could be very, very interesting.
So my mama, I'll be fine. On my side, bitch. On my side, bitch. On my side, bitch. Please quit the crying. Got the opioid rage, but I'm fighting. Got the opioid rage, but I'm fighting. Rage, but I'm fighting. And I give a left, right like I'm Tyson. And that pussy all day, all and that pussy all day, all and that pussy all day, all night, yeah.
I'm sorry you fucked up.
Cool sounding music.
Live life with open hands.
So that's the second to the last song. The last song is going to be from Chanel SD, Eurostar, and it is called No Love. I'll comment some more afterwards. But I'm really liking a lot about this album, and I'll say some more stuff at the end. No Love, Chanel SD and Eurostar is next. If we can get to the end of the... Oh, there we go. Like that. Loving the music in this. Like, the background is very, very cool. That is, it just sounds really, really good. Very different than the 5 songs that preceded it. And I think that's a fine choice to make. Like, to end the album on a song that's easier to connect to. It's a goodbye, right? I'm liking this track also very well.
I'm rocking. Keep cash in my pocket. I'm just trying to get your grind. Eat for 20 years and smoke 100 American. But you don't want to have this back, that niggas that American. Eat for 20 years and smoke 100 American. Shoes on my hands, like I come from North America. She said that I'm heavenly sent, it's a miracle. My life it do make sense, you just miserable. Yeah, that shit really cool. 2 years later, same flow, it's identical. 2 years later, same love, she my day one. I'll be back in the city, chillin' with my day ones. Day one. I know what I need, but what do they want? Yeah, you wanna hit, but you ain't make one. I don't like to drink, but okay, I'll just take one. Hit her, take one door. Shawty wanna link up, meet me at the dojo. Come on, that's I'm not good. I'm trying slow. Couldn't think this don't go. Hey, I'm not me, but my book got cold. Yeah, man, you know.
Cool sounding track. Yeah, no, I think that is an absolutely cool sounding track. Really a good one to end the album on. Big point. I don't want anybody to think I don't like this, because I know I had all sorts of critical things to say about a cat. Why are you biting my hand? See, look at him. He just is going to town, biting the shit out of that little section between your thumb and your finger. What are you doing? Why are you biting me? I don't want anybody to think that I don't like this, because I think it's actually a very cool album, and I love the experimentation. And what I want to see is more. Keep making music. Keep. This is true for everybody, right? Like, people talk about often now in everything, but I know it from games and computer games and tabletop games, computer games, programming in general. Fail fast, right? Like, iterate. And not only are you, when you're coming up with stuff, when you're coming out with your next album from Morbid Fantasy, you're not just coming out with more music. You're not just like creating new things. You're working on your craft. You're figuring out what sounds good to you, how you want things to sound. And the stuff that came before doesn't matter anymore. It was just the stepping stone to get you to where you want to be and get you to the sound that you want to have. And I think you worked through a ton of awesome stuff on this, and I can't wait to hear more. It's just very, very cool. I think you are onto something that could be awesome, and I can't wait. I mean, I really am very excited about this, and I see even on your page you have a handful of new songs. Well, more than a handful. It looks like you even have another album or something from Eurostar, Cold War II, The Leak, some individual tracks, things like that. So I don't know if you're still working on stuff that falls under the Morbid Fantasy header. Send it in, because I will absolutely check it out, because you are onto some very cool stuff here, unlike really anything I've heard in this particular combination of sounds, and I think it's awesome. I think it's really very cool. So great stuff. Icy Eli, thank you for sending this in to me. I think teaming up with Scarlet's Web was a fantastic idea. I believe it's she, is bringing something very cool to this music, and I cannot wait to see where you guys go with it, because it's awesome. It's super great. Papa Squat. Check it out. Please like, subscribe, and share. You can send me music to react to if you are an artist, such as the people from Morbid Fantasy. You can email me at papasquatjon@gmail.com and send me some stuff to listen to. I encourage you to do that. And if you want me to react to something, just like a one-off, send me some money on CashApp or PayPal. Information is also down below. If you are a crazy follower of this channel and you absolutely love it, oh my god, you have to listen to all the crap that John has to say every day, maybe join the Patreon, and then $2 a month, that's it. And then you can send me stuff to listen to, and if you do $10 a month, you can talk to me on Discord, and yeah, there you go. Have yourself a good night. Oh, I just heard that song today by Black Eyed Peas. Tonight's gonna be a good night. Have a good night. Bye.